Cooking in college is hard. And especially cooking good food in college is even harder. Trust me, 99% of the time I will eat just butter noodles and or plain rice. Plain rice, great, easy. Put it in the pot, make it quick. It provides 0 nutrients. We're getting nutrients in our bodies so that we can do our finals. Finals are crazy. So egg drop soup is a great way to do that. Has a lot of protein in it, has a little bit of vegetables, and has great flavor. And especially extra protein if you use bone broth. I try to use any of the bone broths, like specifically you have to use like chicken for egg drop soup. I guess you probably could use like a beef or turkey if you wanted to. You would just end up with a different flavor. But I try to stick with bone broths because there is that little bit of extra like nutrient density in there. Sometimes I will use the College Inn brand, which is funny because it sounds like collagen. But today we're using the Swanson. I also deviate a little bit from the recipe. This recipe is from Mrs. She and Mr. He. And I just found it one day and it tastes amazing and is fairly consistent in its flavor. The only thing that I deviate is I add ginger powder, as well as I do not add the sesame in because A, I don't like sesame, and B, I'm apparently allergic to it. Whatever, long story. So what you want to do before you kind of start cooking or anything is prep your cornstarch slurry. That is going to be 3 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And what that does is if you have that already ready, when you go to pour that mixture into your heated broth, you will have a lot more of an easier like time getting it mixed into it rather than in whatever case of just putting the powder in, because there are some recipes where they would have you just put the powder in. This makes life a little bit easier and makes it quicker. This is a relatively quick recipe. We are trying to eat and then go to bed, or eat and then study and keep brains moving, you know. So first things you want to do is prep all your ingredients like the cornstarch slurry. Then you are going to take however many green onions you want to make. It says on the recipe 2. I typically just use as many as I feel like. So that could be 5, maybe 6. Sometimes I'll just use the whole bunch. Like today I used the whole bunch because I was really picking through some of them. So you just want a good amount of whites, and you're going to put the whites in the actual broth as it is heating, and that'll add just a little bit of flavor. And then you will separate the whites of the green onions, which is the bottom half, and then the tops, which is the green half, and you will separate those out and use the tops as like a garnish. I, for this recipe, would use 2 to 4 eggs, depending on how much you're using. Today, again, deviating a little bit from the recipe, we are just trying to use all of our ingredients. So if you just have one of these, it says use 3 cups. This is 4 cups. Just pour the whole thing in there. Add an extra egg. I find that the slurry is usually completely fine. It adds just the amount of thickness that you're going to want anyway. And today, just because I'm making it for 3 people, I am using 4 eggs. And 4 eggs just adds more texture, and I like texture. To add on to the texture, I also add these as a little garnish at the end. These are salad onions. These are little fried onions. They just kind of add nice flavor. Credit to my mother on wanting to try these because she thought that they would be good in there, and she was right. Hint for life, your mom is usually right. So what I am going to do is I am going to pause this. I'm going to heat up my broth, get this going, and then I will see you when I start adding more ingredients. As a little aside, just as a little comeback before everything's heated and ready, I also use these 2 things. One of these, it's included. It is the white pepper. White pepper is great. It is a little bit more mild, but it has a spicier sort of vibe to it, maybe a little bit smokier than black pepper. It is also very powdered, so this is going to get into your soup a lot better than if you were to just use normal ground pepper. Has some good addition to the soup, as well as ground ginger. I add this in because ginger's good on everything, and also it's good for your stomach, as well as bone broth is. There are a lot of things that I specifically make just because it is good for my stomach, and I have a lot of stomach problems as it is. And as a college student, this is probably a common thing. So another thing that is not on the recipe that I do add is this little combination thing, it's from Choice. If you're local to like the Warner Robins area, there is an Asian market. I have a bigger, better one. It's like this dark sort of sauce. It has some soy sauce. It's got some fish stock. It's got some, you know, other things in there. Apple cider vinegar, yeast extract, bonito extract, little bit of sugar, a little bit of alcohol. Just some good stuff. It adds good flavor to this and gives you the non-need to add salt. I find when I add salt, it ends up becoming more salty than it needs, as well as it does not add flavor. It just kind of adds saltiness. And what you want in something that has so few ingredients is you want to pack it with as much flavor as you can by using good whole ingredients, you know? So yeah, I will get back to you when everything's heated. Also in the heating stage, add these two. I measure with my heart, taste it, put a little bit in. Only put a little bit in, especially for the white pepper. Put a very small amount in, like a little, just get a little into your spoon. Just get a little into, give me a second. Like one of these spoons, little itty bitty thing, little end of it. Don't put too much in. This will overwhelm it very quickly. It's mild until a point. So just be careful about that. Ginger less so. Ginger, you could add a good amount to it, and it's mostly just going to add a little bit of spice. So that'll be good in adding that more flavor. So yes, measure with your heart. I will put actual measurements in the recipe. I'll be back. Slight location change. Our pot is boiling. You want it to be boiling. Turn it down to a little bit of a simmer. After it starts boiling, let it simmer for a good minute. I just, again, kind of measure it with my heart. I'd say 2 or 3 minutes, just let it simmer. I've added in my spices and my fun soy sauce, fish sauce combination stuff. And I've tasted it at this point. It tastes pretty good. Just needs to get that heat in it. At this point, after it has been heating for a little while, you're going to want to mix up your cornstarch slurry one more time. Just make sure there is no cornstarch left on the bottom, no cornstarch left behind, because that would be sad. You need all that cornstarch in your soup for it to get thickened. That gives the whole texture for the egg drop soup. And typically if you're going for egg drop soup, you're going for texture and flavor and protein. Protein is another good aspect of that. All right, so when it is down to a simmer, you don't want it too hot because it will just immediately cook the cornstarch and then you'll have to stir it up. Go ahead and pour it in there. And what I go ahead and do is after I pour it in there, I go rinse this out real quick. Put the spoon in the sink. And grab myself a skinny fork. I prefer skinny fork for feeding eggs because it makes life a little bit easier to get in the air into your eggs. So you are going to want to stir up your mixture a little bit so it can all get together, or else it will just either sink to the bottom or stay on top, and you don't want that either. It will start to thicken at this point. Just keep an eye on it while you are handling your eggs. At this point, you're going to want to go to your eggs, crack each of them in this thing. I would say use any measuring cup or anything that you might have that has a pointed spout. That pointed spout is going to be able to, as you are pouring your eggs in there, clockwise or counterclockwise, or just around the pot, it will spout them into your pot in little ribbons. And that's how you get the texture. I like having little thick pieces of the eggs. That's my favorite part of it. But you still want it to be ribbons mostly. You don't want to just put the egg in there all at one time. It will not give you the same texture that you want. Egg drop soup is pretty easy if you use these little hacks. And what you want to do with your eggs is beat them like you would beat scrambled eggs. Makes life easy, gets the air in there, helps out with the egg texture process. Let me go do that and I will get back to you in just a second. Right at this point, the cornstarch slurry has thickened up the soup. I have therein cracked the eggs. I have not checked for shells. Always check for shells, because then you have that weird, funky, crunchy texture. Nobody likes the crunchy texture. Nobody wants the, ooh, surprise texture. Come on now. That is definitely a shell. Get that on out of there. All right, I believe that was the only shell that I got. Success, 4 eggs, only 1 shell. I've been getting a lot of double yolks lately. Double yolks are fun. You guys get double yolks often? I think double yolks are like the best part of eggs. It's like a little surprise, some treat. My father says there is no extra nutrients in the double yolks. I disagree. I may be wrong. I think it's just fun. I think double yolks are generally just a fun thing to have. Yeah. So, angle, long fork, helps get air. You want to aerate your eggs as best as possible. Also, you'll get kind of, let me show you, kind of a layer upon the soup. We got a lot of steam on the camera. I hope you could see that. But you'll get kind of a layer with the cornstarch on that. So every now and then, while you're doing your eggs, this is a relatively quick recipe, which is really good when you are in finals and you just want to put something in your stomach. Keep mixing those eggs. You want to try and get to the point where when you let it sit, you don't see any of the the weird funky clear bits from the clear part of the egg. You want to get it as, you know, mixed in as possible. All right, I think we're getting just about there. And again, I was not formally taught by somebody how to do egg drop soup. This is my own rendition. This is my own chaos cooking. And it produces pretty good results. So after you get that stirred in, put that fork aside. I just put it in the sink, make it easy, and get that egg off my hand, and take your stuff. Well, let me get you a good angle. Sort of pour it in there circularly, kind of slowly. You want it to be as thin little ribbons as possible. You can already see it's kind of getting cooked. It was pretty easy. Try to get all that egg out of there. I don't do anything to get the rest of the egg out there because I do not find that there's a necessity to do that. Set right back up there. And now, wash your hands. Keep washing your hands. Washing your hands is good for cooking, and it's good for everybody else's health around you, especially if you're making food for other people. Wash your hands. And while you're washing your hands, the eggs are getting cooked. Yay! After you wash your hands, it gives you a good amount of time for those eggs to start getting that good cook on them. I give it a good little stir, and it really thickens up after that. And you have to set some of those kind of bigger ribbons, and I'll show you about how it should look. So you got some big pieces in there. Some big pieces. There's a big piece. Got some big pieces, kind of like that, but it's overall kind of little pieces. You want that. That's the best kind of texture. And good for you. Tastes delicious. Those white parts of the green onions are going to add a lot of flavor. And let that go for just a minute. Vibe for a second. Gather up all your friends, all your roommates, whoever, partner, parents, who have you. And then dinner is ready. Easy game, easy fun time. It's about a 15-20 minute cook. Just prep your stuff beforehand. Put it all in a pot. There's like no prep. Wash your green onions. I float my eggs because, I mean, when you're in college, who knows how long you've had those eggs? Check your eggs. I float them. You could go by the date. It's up to you. Don't really care, one way or another. Check your eggs. Check all your stuff. Egg soup sweaty. Have a good day. Enjoy your meal. Eat healthier. It's fun. It makes you feel better. And it helps you study your stuff and gets you better grades because you're not thinking about, gosh, I am so hungry, or I have a headache because I just ate a Pop-Tart for breakfast this morning. Eat your food. Thanks. Bye.